Good morning. Welcome to the 2025 Foothills Veterans Winter Stand Down. I'm Ken Beard, U.S. Army and North Carolina National Guard retired, and co-chair of the Stand Down Committee.
And I'm Mark Barber, United States Air Force Reserve retired, also the co-chair of the Stand Down Committee.
Together, we'll be your MCs this morning. We're so glad you could join us for this special occasion, our 10th annual Foothills Veterans Winter Stand Down.
So before we begin our formal program today, a brief note about our emergency action plan. The Civic Center has trained responsible staff ready to implement emergency instructions if needed. In the event of an evacuation, please follow all instructions from the Civic Center staff. Please take notes of the emergency exits at the time as well, so they'll be lit up in green. So also as a courtesy to others, please silence your phones now or turn them off at this time. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the colors and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Mr. Richard Lamott.
Halt!
Order. Colors. Ready. Cut. Left. Face. Carry. Colors. Ready. Cut. Present. Colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight on the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow, that's all I can say. If that doesn't bring chills to you, nothing else will. Thank you, Richard. Please remain standing, face the flag, and join me in reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry. Colors. Ready. Cut.
Please be seated for the invocation delivered by a Vietnam veteran, Reverend Dr. Steve Parker.
Order.
As you were.
Stand by.
Say carry.
As you were.
Just bow your head.
The Bible says this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Enjoy this day. Let's pray together. Our Father, we pause in the name of Jesus. With the help of your Spirit, we give you glory. We honor you and praise you because you are who you are. Thank you for your Son, the Lord Jesus, the debt he paid, that we could be free indeed. Thank you for his death, his burial, and his resurrection. And today we want to thank you for the United States of America. We want to thank you for all of our veterans today. We pray your richest of blessings upon them. Lord, those that are serving today, we lift them to you and ask that your protective hand will be upon them as they continue to serve this great country. We thank you again for all of our veterans and our leadership. We ask now, Lord, that you'd have your way and help us to enjoy this day. In Jesus' name, and all of God's people said, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Parker. Thank you very much.
At this time, we'll play the Armed Forces Medley. If you're able, please stand when your branch's song is played, and feel free to sing along if you know the words. U.S. Army. United States Marine Corps. United States Navy. United States Air Force. United States Coast Guard. United States Space Force. Retire the colors.
Colors. Ready. Cut. Right. Face. Column right. March.
It's also a special year for 3 of our military services. Happy 250th year anniversary to the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Marine Corps, and the U.S. Army. Let's have a round of applause. The table on stage is set in a place of honor, set in tribute to our missing service members, our prisoners of war, and those still listed as missing in action. Though they cannot be with us today, we remember them and the sacrifices they made for our freedom. Let's take a moment to reflect on the meaning of this table.
The table is small and set for one, symbolizing the frailty of the lone prisoner against his captors.
The table is round, representing the everlasting concern of the survivors for their missing loved ones.
The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions when answering our nation's call to arms.
There's a single red rose. It reminds us of the blood that has been shed in sacrifice to ensure our freedoms. It also represents the loved ones who keep the faith, awaiting their return.
The yellow ribbon stands for our unyielding determination to seek proper accounting for our missing heroes.
The slice of lemon on the plate reminds us of the bitter fate of those captured or missing in foreign lands.
The grains of salt on the plate symbolize the countless tears shed by the families as they wait.
The glass is inverted, for they cannot be with us today.
The Bible represents the strength gained through faith, faith that sustains us, honors our nations, founded as one nation under God.
And the candle is lit, a symbol of the light of hope that lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home.
And the chair is empty, for they are not here.
Let us remember and never forget their sacrifices. Please join us now in a moment of silent prayer. Thank you. Welcome to the 10th Annual Foothills Veterans Winter Stand Down. For those attending for the first time, you might wonder what exactly is a stand down. Well, the term originated during wartime when the troops were withdrawn from combat to rest and recover. Today, stand downs serve as a community event that not only supports at-risk veterans, but all veterans, connecting them with essential services, resources, and renewed hope, much like their military origins, which centered on rest, restoration, and resilience. These events are designed to give veterans hope, to offer them a safe environment among people who understand their challenges, and to connect them with care and support. They serve as a reminder to every veteran, you are not forgotten and you are not alone. Last year, we served over 280 veterans. And something you probably are not aware of, there are over 30,000 veterans living in Caldwell and surrounding counties, with over 5,000 of us living in Caldwell County alone.
As we celebrated this past Tuesday to honor our veterans for Veterans Day, it is our sincere hope that you took the time to reflect on those sacrificed and those that risked their lives to defend the freedom that we enjoy every day. An unknown author said it best, and I quote, "A veteran, whether active duty, retired, National Guard, Reserve, is someone who at one point in their life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for the amount up to and including their lives." Let those words sink in just a little bit. Therefore, on behalf of a grateful nation, we sincerely thank all veterans for their service to our country. Before moving on, I'd like to recognize some special guests that we have here today. In lieu of time, I do ask that you just kind of hold your applause until the end of the introductions. When your name is called, please stand to be briefly recognized. First, we'd like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Dr. Mark Porch, president of Caldwell Community College and Technical Institute, and to the college's senior leadership team. Thanks, Dr. Porch, to your generosity, we're able to use this Broyhill Civic Center, this beautiful facility owned by the college at no cost. In addition to that, we're grateful for the college's continued support through its faculty and staff who provided health screenings, eye checks, chair massages, haircuts, and other valuable resources here at this event.
Next, we'd like to recognize and welcome our local elected officials. And again, if you would stand, when I call your name, we'll wait till the end to give them a round of applause. Caldwell County Sheriff Kevin Beard, Caldwell County Register of Deeds Wayne Rash, Mayor of Lenoir Joe Gibbons, Mayor of Hudson Janet Winkler. Next, we'd like to recognize and welcome our local municipal senior dignitaries. Lenoir Senior Manager Scott Hildebrand, Hudson City Mayor Jonathan Greer, Lenoir City Council member Kimmy Rogers.
I'd also be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank all the following people and organizations without whom this event would not be possible. So please stand if you represent one of these groups when called. The Foothills Veterans Helping Veterans Winter Stand-Down Committee, identified by their shirts, and they're all volunteer force who worked tirelessly to set up this event today. Foothills Helping Veterans, our parent organization. Caldwell County Veterans Services Office for their ongoing support to our local veterans. Caldwell County Public Information for their outstanding work in marketing and communication. Caldwell County Register of Deeds for providing and printing our veterans' ID cards. Again, thanking the Sheriff Kevin Beard for his department. Lenoir Police Chief Andy Wilson and his department. Lenoir Fire Chief Norman Staines and his department, along with the static display outside. The North Carolina Army National Guard for their support and also their static display outside. Caldwell Community College and Technical Institute, including the nursing, the medical assisting, massage therapy, ophthalmic medical personnel, cosmetology, truck driving training, and student services. Thank you. Also, special appreciation goes to CCC and TI's Pam Owens, nursing faculty and her 80 nursing students who organized a coat drive for the stand down. We're here nearly 6 hours yesterday, assisting with setup, sorting of clothing items in the supply room, and also setting up this beautiful table that you see to my left. Thank you very much. NC Works Career Center and their dedicated staff. Special thanks also goes to the staff of the Broyhill Civic Center who go above and beyond to make this event a success.
And to Senior Chief Pitts, Junior RTC instructor and his award-winning three-peat national champion, West Caldwell High School Navy Junior RTC, who presented today's colors. Retired Air Force veteran Richard Lamont, who performed the national anthem and who will be our guest speaker a little bit later. Reverend Dr. Steve Parker, who offered our invocation this morning and who heads up the Caldwell Baptist Association, and for their generosity, all those nice Debbie cakes out in the foyer out there, and for financial contributions as well. And to New Life Baptist Church for the use of the sound system, Hickory Elks Lodge and Hildebrand Lodge 262 for their generosity and financial contributions, Greenway Public Transportation for transporting our veterans here and around in the parking lot as well, and to Sport Clips Haircuts of Hickory for providing free haircuts today. Also would like to give special shout out to Sport Clips Haircuts of Hickory, who's partnered with CC and TI's cosmetology program to offer free haircuts to veterans on the first Wednesday of every month except January and August 2026 on their main campus at CCC and TI's K Building, room 008, from 9 to 10 a.m. and for all of our community partners who donated numerous door prizes, and Lenoir Rotary Club for donating resources, food, and volunteers. So we didn't pause for after our dignitaries, public officials, or those folks. So let's give everyone a round of applause so far.
All right, we still got a few more. Once again, these are important to mention because without them, this would not be possible. So just kind of bear with me here. To our food vendors, thank you for the donations. Bose Entertainment for breakfast and lunch. A&C Dynamic Catering for their breakfast and lunch. McDonald's of Lenoir for their breakfast. Hardee's of Lenoir for their breakfast. Krispy Kreme of Hickory, breakfast. Cedar Valley Ruleton Club, breakfast. Chick-fil-A, Lenoir, lunch. Bose Entertainment, also for lunch. Italy Grill, lunch. Bimbo Bakeries of Valdez, the giveaways, the bread upstairs. Caldwell Baptist Association for the Little Debbie cakes. Pet Sense for their food and treats and toys for our furry friends. Can't forget those. Beverage vendors, we've got Bose Entertainment again, also providing tea, lemonade, and cups. Pepsi Cola of Hickory, assorted soft drinks. Google of Lenoir, also bottled water. Let's show our appreciation.
And also a big shout out to all the service providers and agencies set up upstairs who you'll visit shortly. They're here and they are ready to serve you. So now we'd like to move to a special part of the presentation and honor several individuals with a special quilt of valor. I'd like to introduce Kathy Heisler, a manager of a quilt store in Boone and team leader for the Boone Quilts of Valor group, to come forward and conduct this special part of the program. Kathy, come on.
Thank you. Is that all right? Yeah. Thank you. Good morning. I'm a little bit shorter than Ken here. Morning.
Close.
So today I am honored to be able to present 7 quilts to veterans, and I know that there are so many more of you out there. After the presentation, I will be upstairs taking nominations to make future presentations. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Quilts of Valor. The Quilts of Valor Foundation is a grassroots group of thousands of quilters across our great country. We sew to honor our active duty service members and veterans for their sacrifice and their service to our country. Quilts of Valor Foundation began over 20 years ago in 2003 with a dream, literally a dream, by Catherine Roberts, our founder. Her son Nat was deployed in Iraq. According to Catherine, the dream was as vivid as real life. I saw a young man sitting on the side of a bed in the middle of the night, hunched over. The permeating feeling was one of utter despair. I could see his war demons clustered around, dragging him down into an emotional gutter. Then, as if viewing a movie, I saw him in the next scene wrapped in a quilt. His whole demeanor changed, from one of despair to one of hope and well-being. The quilt had made the dramatic change. The message of my dream was simple: quilts equal healing. The model appeared simple: have a volunteer team who would donate their time and materials to make a quilt. One person would piece the top and another would quilt it. I saw the name for this special quilt. It was a Quilt of Valor, a QOV. In 2003, the first quilt was awarded at Reed Memorial Hospital to a wounded vet, and the phrase "touched by war" was coined by Reverend Kellerson. All this time, the meaning of touched by war and who was to receive a Quilt of Valor has evolved. Originally, it was literally interpreted, But as the movement grew, the interpretation grew. To quote Catherine, today's military is composed of volunteers and has always been about having their buddies back. From those in the rear with the gear to the frontline service member, being touched by war can take many forms. Anyone who has taken the oath of enlistment has accepted the burden and risk and may be touched by war in ways that are not totally apparent. Whether in times of war or peace, we cannot know what they experienced and how it affected them. The point is not to discriminate, but to honor. Since 2003, as of this morning, 427,121 quilts have been made and awarded to veterans who served our country. A quilt of valor is made of 3 layers, each with its own meaning. The top, with its many colors, shapes, and fabric, represents the communities and the many individuals on our QOV teams. The batting, the filler in the center of the quilt, is its warmth. It represents our hope that this quilt will bring warmth, comfort, peace, and healing to the individual who receives it. The backing is the strength that supports the other layers. It represents the strength of the recipient, the support of his family, our communities, and our nation. Each stitch that holds the layers together, the quilting, represents love, gratitude, and sometimes the tears of the maker. Each quilt also represents a multi-part message from us. First, we honor you for your service. We honor you for leaving all you hold dear to stand in harm's way in the time of crisis, protecting us from the effects of war. Next, we know that freedom is not free. The cost of freedom is the dedication of the lives of men and women like you, and is meant to say thank you for your service, thank you for your sacrifice. We want to offer you this small token from our grateful hearts for your willingness to leave home, to stand in harm's way on behalf of all of us, those you know and those you will never meet. And finally, these quilts are meant to offer comfort to you and to remind you that although your family and friends cannot be with you at all times, you are forever in our thoughts, our hearts, and we are forever in your debt. A quilt offers comfort like nothing else can. It is not meant just for display, and we hope that the recipients today will use it. We hope you will let it warm you when you are cold, offer comfort when reflections may cause you pain, and above all, will serve as a reminder of the loving hearts and talented hands who are honored to thank you with this quilt. Quilters like to say that every quilt tells a story, and you will see today that each of these quilts I'm presenting are different. Your quilt began in the hands of many quilters from our Boone team who provided blocks, assembled the top, added the backing, the batting, quilted it with love, and then bound the edges together to keep it secure. There's truly no other quilt like yours, and today the story of this quilt becomes your story. We've inscribed the names of the recipient on the back of each quilt so that it may serve to let future generations in your family know what you have done for this country. So it is now my privilege to call up these recipients and to share their quilts with all of you. Richard Bowser, United States Air Force. Billy Haskett, United States Army. Arvel Cannon, United States Army. Brian Christensen, United States Air Force. Earl Jonas Odom, United States Navy. Wayne Mihailuk, United States Navy. And Joseph Calloway, United States Army. So, how do you want to do this? Maybe we should hold them up first and then we'll, so, Richard. Let's show everybody.
That covers them up, huh?
Thank you so much. Billy. Billy Haskett?
Is Billy here? We'll make sure that he gets that one.
You can still show us the quilt.
Oh, wait.
All right, they want to see the quilt.
They're beautiful.
Oh, let's. I'm really excited about something new we're going to be receiving in celebration of America 250. We will be getting a special panel that shows an America 250 symbol and Quilts of Valor combined. Brian. Earl. Wayne. And Joseph. Thank you all so very much.
Yep, one big round of applause. Thank you. Come up here.
That's one more round of applause.
Okay. Be careful here as you exit.
Kathy, thanks so much for being a special part of our day today. We appreciate it.
Hey, can you help with
down. Those blankets add about 2 or 3 pounds there to their shoulders, so you've heard of rucking, right? So it's almost like that. We'll wait for them to have a seat. Okay, it's my great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker. You've heard him before. He's sung the national anthem. He was wonderful. Senior Master Sergeant Richard Lamott, United States Air Force retired, who's going to talk to us today about his unique experience serving as an elite Air Force flight attendant, supporting presidents, vice presidents, world leaders, and even flying aboard Air Force One. So, Senior Master Sergeant retired Richard Lamott began his Air Force career in 1992 as a supply journeyman specialist and quickly became known for his exceptional service and his performing talent. From entertaining troops worldwide to working with Tops and Blues program to earning multiple awards for his volunteerism and his leadership, he somehow managed to balance his military excellence with a passion of the arts. Transitioning to the elite Air Force flight attendant career field at Joint Base Andrews, he served presidents, vice presidents, world leaders, including, once again, aboard Air Force One, earning praise for his professionalism and his dedication. Beyond his duties, he supported homeless shelters, performed the national anthem at major venues, championed the Fisher House Foundations. He's also celebrated as the Airman of Show Business. Senior Master Sergeant Lamott has also served proudly with the nation for over 27 years in his devotion, his service, and his heart. Today he's going to be talking to us about topic flying through history, serving our nation's leaders at 41,000 feet, sharing his remarkable experience serving our nation's leaders in flight. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm welcome to United States Air Force Senior Master Sergeant retired Richard Lamott. Thank you.
Good morning, Caldwell County. Thank you very much for that nice introduction. None of it's true, but that's okay. I appreciate it. Good morning, veterans. Good morning, brothers and sisters, family members, volunteers, and our sponsors. Good morning, and thank you for your service. So when anybody ever says that to me, like so far this morning, probably 10 people have come up to me, and they say, thank you for your service. And I always say, thank you for saying that. It was my honor to serve, because it was an honor. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm going to talk to you about that stuff that you just told you, all that great stuff and the fun stuff. But I'm going to talk to you about service first, because it's important. So I say, thank you for your service. Now let's try that. Do you remember what my response was? Thank you for your service. Perfect. So now you have a new response. To my veteran brothers and sisters, thank you again. To the family members, thank you. My wife is here with us today. Stand up, babe. Say hi. Just give a wave. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So without the family members, we can do nothing. The family stands behind us, and they're everything, and they're the reason that we get to do what we do. She's the reason that I'm here on this stage today. And the real reason is because of what I'm wearing. This is not just a costume that I brought downtown. I wear it proudly. And as you can tell, I'm not here from Caldwell County. I don't sound like a lot of you. I come, by the way, of Albany, New York, and my wife from London, England. And now we live in the Western Mountains of North Carolina, so if you can imagine, we are fish out of water. But we are very proud to be here. On our property here in Lenoir, we have several American flags. But on our flagpole that's on our driveway, we have the American flag on the top, and then North Carolina flag, because we're proud of North Carolinians now, and also the Air Force flag. The Air Force literally brought me everywhere around the world. It brought me to over 100 countries, over 2 million miles, countless nations leaders, as you heard, and doing amazing things. It brought me to Aviano Air Base, Italy. It brought me to Guam in the South Pacific for 3 years. And then it brought me to England, where I met my wife. And And if it wasn't for the Air Force, I wouldn't have my wife, and we wouldn't have a 13-year-old sitting at Lenoir Middle School, hopefully learning something today. But considering he's 13, probably not. Now, those of you veterans, I'm talking to the veterans now. Some of you chose to go in the military. Let me see hands. Who chose to go in the military? Lots of hands. I love that. Encourage the young people today to choose the military. And choose it for the right reasons. Yes, it's great. We can go to college and we can travel the world. But service. Service is the most important thing that we can give our nation. Now, those of you got drafted. Where's my draftees? Who got drafted in the military? Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. You chose a different path, but you were told to go in the military. And service is service. Some of you stood in front of a judge, and he gave you the option. Go in the military or go to jail. You don't have to raise your hands. You don't have to raise your hands. Don't worry, the statute of limitations has expired. No one here will judge you because you still went on to serve. And that's the most important thing. Now, I look really comfortable, I know I do. And it's kind of cool, this costume. But I'm going to do my Mr. Rogers moment now. And I'm going to take my jacket off. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm going to put another jacket on that I am equally as proud of. And that's my flight jacket. The day I got my flight jacket, I was so proud. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud. If I could wear it in my civilian clothes, I would have worn my civilian clothes. That's how proud I was of it. Let's see if I can get it up. Yeah, there we go. All right. So this is my flying jacket. I didn't wear this on the airplane. Sometimes we did if I wore my flight suit, but you'll see some pictures here scrolling on the screen. Some of them have been photoshopped. They haven't. There's that beautiful airplane, the beautiful blue and white airplane. Now, does anybody know the story of the blue and white color scheme on Air Force One? Okay, I'm going to tell you. It came under the Kennedy administration. Before the Kennedys came into office, the airplane was silver and orange with a black stripe. Mrs. Kennedy thought the airplane, there's our president, hello, Mr. Trump. She thought the airplane was a little too regal looking. So she got with the designer, changed the design color to white representing the clouds, blue representing the sky. And if you look under the, there's my beautiful family, Michelle, my son Hudson. If you look on the side of the airplane where it says United States of America, that font is actually the same title of our Declaration of Independence. So it's kind of cool. So that blue and white color scheme has stuck all this time. Dalai Lama there. So you can see lots of different world leaders. The flag is flying. It looks like it's backwards. So when you look at the airplane again, if we see another picture of the airplane come up, look at the flag. Looks like it's flying backwards. It's actually not flying backwards. It's flying in which the way it would go through the sky. It would be flying that way. It was amazing. That was in Sofia, Bulgaria. And believe it or not, there was something, there's that font, United States of America on the side. There was something on the side of the airplane. And the maintenance guy said, they're going to go up and clean it. And I said, no, I'd like to get up there and clean it. More importantly, I wanted that picture. So, that was my uniform. That's what I wore on in the airplane. So I got to wear the uniform, survival school. That's what I had to do to become a flight attendant, believe it or not. And that's how it started. 1992, Airman Basic. Harrison Ford, I've met a lot of different people over the years. Not only presidents, kings and queens, first ladies, lots of different people in the president's cabinet, but also some great people like Dolly Parton. Oh my gosh, you love Dolly, don't you? She's the real deal. There's my flight suit, so I would wear that every now and then. There's my ADUs, so those would be the combat uniform that we would wear usually daily. That was General Rice, and that was on the day of my retirement. It was really amazing to get to do what I did. I want to go back to 12 years old, 1984, Albany, New York. One of the favorite things I loved to do was go to the airport, ride my bike to the airport, which was about 4 miles away, and watch the airplanes. Well, that day, Air Force One was coming in, with then President Ronald Reagan and his Vice President, George Herbert Walker Bush. They were coming in because the president was campaigning for local and state elections. And I stood there as a little 12-year-old with my hands on the fence, watching and seeing that airplane and thinking, oh my gosh, that's Air Force One. Can you imagine? Air Force One. Little would I know that I would go into the military several years later and get to not only fly on that airplane, but fly on our other airplane at Andrews. Not only that, but I would go full circle and I would play a key role in President Ronald Reagan's funeral when we would go out and pick up some of the dignitaries to bring them to Washington, D.C. for the president's funeral, and then bring the president's body back to California for burial with Mrs. Reagan and her group. Then one of the last things I got to do was be the chief usher at President Herbert Walker Bush's funeral. And so if you go back and you watch that funeral on YouTube, you'll see me seating all the dignitaries to their seats that day. That was a great honor. And it was Herbert Walker. So if you ever hear people say Bush Jr. and Bush Sr., they weren't a junior and senior, because Bush the older was Herbert Walker, and Bush the lesser was George W. Bush. I spent 6 years under the Bush administration, flying the Bushes, flying the First Lady, Laura Bush, all of his cabinet members, doing trips like the Olympics to China, being some of the first members to Banda Aceh during the tsunami, and countless other trips. After the Bushes left office, I went on to be with the Obamas and the Obama administration, then President Obama and his then Vice President Joe Biden. I spent 8 years under the Biden administration, again doing countless amazing trips all around the world. Serving, I've literally run out of the amount of countries and the amount of cities that we went to. But the most important thing was getting to put that uniform on, getting to step to that airplane. It was historic. That's why I call it Flying Through History. It will be eventually the title of my book, but it's going to be about that kid that I told you about from Albany, New York, that got to hold that fence line and look at that airplane and then eventually get to fly on the airplane at the Andrews. After the Obamas and Bidens left office, I got to do the first year and a half under the first Trump administration, and then I retired in 2019, and that led us here to Caldwell County, where we found a great property. A lot of people, that's the first question. Why Caldwell County? Why Lenoir? We found our house. We had found it online and called the listing agent up, Lee Pennell. He's, I don't know if he's here or not, but Lee, that's the one thing you don't do is call the listing agent because they're not on your side. But we fell in love with the house, and Lee and Debbie are quick friends, and we love living here. So it was an amazing career. It was an amazing job. But it all goes back to the service. To be able to put this uniform on, I get to still put it on every couple months or a few times a year. And the good thing about it is it still fits. I had an old mentor that said, when the uniform don't fit anymore, you need to take a dive. That you need to go on a dive. The uniform still fits, it's not too snug, and it fits in all the right places. Now, sometimes when I do these talks, people have a lot of questions about different people that I've served or different places that I go. So if you have any questions, I'm going to give you a few time. If you want to just put your hand up, and I'll try to answer the questions. And if you don't want to stand up now and ask the question, then you can ask me outside, because I know the only thing that's between you and lunch is me. So, does anybody have any questions right now?
Who was your favorite?
Who was my favorite? That's always like the number one question. There's no right or wrong answer to this. I can tell you, we know that. So who was my favorite passenger? I have a lot of favorites, but I really like taking care of Mrs. Bush. She was a great lady. She was a very easy lady to take care of. She liked her water room temperature. She didn't want it cold. She liked it in a plastic bottle so that she could throw it in her purse and go off. So I really like taking care of the First Lady. I had a couple of Chairman Joint Chiefs of Staff that I really enjoyed taking care of. Admiral Mike Mullen is one that comes to mind. He's a very tough Navy admiral that came from running a ship and that was used to getting everything. He had a chef, and he had his own personal porter, and he had everything because he was the commander of that ship, and then eventually became the commandant of the Navy. So then when President Obama asked him to become the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, he came on our airplane, and I did his first trip. And he was a pretty tough guy. Even tougher was Mrs. Mullen, trust me. And, he came on and he thought it was his airplane. And we had to gently tell him it wasn't his airplane. But he was allowed to fly on it. So he thought anything could go. He thought, he had no rules and he could do whatever he wanted to do on his airplane. So we very diplomatically and very respectfully showed him the ways, and he ended up being our chairman for the Joint Chiefs of Staff for 4 years. Very tough passenger. Mrs. Mullen was very demanding, but some of my favorite people. I loved them. I did their first, I did their last trip when they left office. I went to his retirement ceremony. He was just a great guy. We still get Christmas cards from the locals every year. So, another question?
Be honest, who was your least favorite?
It was my least favorite. Is that the same guy after Western, sir?
Hey, before you answer that, just know that you're being recorded, so.
Being recorded, yes. Trust me, I am diplomatic with every single answer because I will tell you this. Service, again, service to the presidency, service to the president's cabinet is not about any one party. It's not about any one person. It's about that seal. It's about the flag. It's about our nation. It's about what that represents. And if you look at it like that, if you challenge your friends and your family and your neighbors to look at that seal and what it means, look at the White House and what it means. Even though it's being changed right now. That's okay though. Change is good, right? We wouldn't have the colors of our airplane if Mrs. Kennedy didn't decide to change. Look at that and give the respect to the seal. Give the respect to the person and the person in which the position that they hold. And it might make it a little bit easier. My least favorite are the press guys. The press on board the airplane because they're entitled. They're entitled to fly on the airplane. My least favorite is the last person on the last seat in the back of the airplane because they're traveling with the guy or the girl up front, so that makes them equally important. So what they ask for and what they want on the shopping list for the menu, because that's all part of my job, is to plan that shopping list, plan the menu, and then serve the food on board the airplane, is not what that VIP wanted, it's what they wanted. So my least favorites are those guys. But I still love them, they were great. I had to tell many press people, put your feet down, get your feet off the wall. This is Air Force One, you're not at home. This is Air Force Two. Air Force Two is where the Vice President flies on, so any airplane that the Vice President will step on will become Air Force Two. Air Force One is not that big 747 that you saw up on the screen, because at that point that picture was taken, they were doing what they call locals, which are just touching those. There was nobody on board, they're just doing it for training. The President wasn't on board, so it was not Air Force One. Air Force One is only the call sign. Historically, it comes from Harry S. Truman. President Truman was flying, they were flying from New York to Washington, getting ready for clearance, and they couldn't get clearance because they were clearing an Eastern Airlines airplane first. The pilots, when they landed, said, we have to come up with something, because we can't say this is the President on board, so we have to come up with some kind of call sign. And the call sign that they figured out was Air Force One. So whatever airplane that the President steps on board becomes Air Force One. I have a great story. I was flying the First Lady on a Boeing BBJ model, all white airplanes. So we had white airplanes and we had blue and white airplanes at Andrews. And Mrs. Obama, it was raining. We landed back in Joint Base Andrews, and we were landing at the same, just a little bit after the President had landed. Usually the President would get on a helicopter and take that 9-minute flight to the West Lawn and be done. But at this point, the President didn't leave because he was waiting for his wife. So I was up at the top of the stairs waiting just inside the aircraft for the departure, what we call the departure. And I looked over and I seen President Obama coming with the umbrella. He's coming over to shield his wife with an umbrella so she can walk from there to the helicopter. I kind of leaned into the cockpit and I said, guys, I think we're about to be Air Force One. And for that moment, when the President stepped on board, that airplane, which was Executive One on that day, because the First Lady was on board, for that very moment, we were Air Force One. The President came on board, he said, morning. I said, morning, sir. He said, where's my girl? I said, she's right back there. He grabbed her, they walked to the helicopter, and then went on to the White House. Okay, questions? Any more questions? Yes?
I've got to ask, you had Harrison Ford up there before.
Harrison Ford is an aviator himself, yeah.
He was in a movie, Air Force One.
Yeah, yes.
Could that ever conceivably happen?
So that's the number 2 question that always comes up. Number 1 is, who did you like the most? Number 2 is Air Force One. Air Force One, the movie, was the best representation of the airplane. It was, so if you want to know what the airplane actually looked like inside, Air Force One is a really good representation. But I will tell you a couple things about that. The first is, there is no escape pod. Okay? The President can't jump in a round wall and be shot out the back of the airplane as it crashes or as it gets taken over or hijacked. So there's no escape pod. Next question would be, can the airplane refuel in the air? Yes, it can. It has the capabilities of refueling in the air. For any of my aviators out there will tell you that air refueling is actually the most dangerous aspect of flight. So it wouldn't. Now, on 9/11, there was no safer place for the President than on Air Force One. So when the President got the news of the attack in Florida, all anybody cared about was getting him airborne. not getting airborne back to Washington, D.C. because they didn't realize about the attack, whether it was there or anywhere else. It was just to get him airborne because that would have been the safest place for him at that moment. A lot of people think that the airplane is always joined by fighters and escorted by fighters. It's not. It was that day. That was the first time in a very long time of our nation's history that it actually was escorted. They took off out of Florida. They got over the Gulf of Mexico, America. They got over the Gulf. Let's say the Gulf. And they got over the Gulf where two F-15s joined them from Barstow Air Force Base. The president looked out and they saw the F-15s on both sides, and he kind of knew at that point he was probably safe. They didn't know where they were going to go yet because they were looking for a secure location to get the president on the ground. The president wanted to get back to the White House because his wife and Mrs. Cheney at the time were at the Capitol and being rushed to the White House to the bunker. Now, the funny thing about the bunker is it hadn't been used since the Korean War. So when they got down to the bunker, the secure location, Mrs. Bush, Mrs. Cheney, and their staff, there were cots and MREs down there. It's crazy. It had never been used. Sometimes tragedy brings technology, and in this instance now, if you went to the bunker that's several hundred feet below the White House, it doesn't look like that anymore. But the president wanted to get back to the White House. They couldn't get back quick enough as far as he was concerned, but the Secret Service wanted to get him to a secure location. They went to that secure location in Barstow, spent several hours making phone calls, and then finally the president arrived back at the White House about 8 p.m. That evening. For the rest is what we know is history. Questions? Any other questions? Did I answer your Air Force One question? Yeah. Really good movie. Really good movie. If it's on, I watch it. You know, just for a second, my wife goes, "Really? Again?" And I go, "That's not right. That uniform's wrong. Why didn't they get that right?" They usually get some things right and some things wrong. It's all for entertainment value. Any other questions?
When's your book coming out?
When's my book coming out? Good question. So I do want to put a book out, but I still fly. I work privately in the private aviation industry now for some folks who own their own airplane. It's very different. It is very different from getting to put this uniform on or getting to put the flight attendant uniform on. There's, you know, the level of wealth is incredible and all of that. But out of respect for doing that job now, I'm not going to put any book out or publish anything until I'm done flying, which I keep saying every single week, one more year. And then after I'm home for about 10 days, my wife says, "When are you going on the road again?" Right? Is that right? But I will eventually put it out, and it's not going to be a tell-all. Because really, I have no negative stories. I was that kid on the fence line, looking at that airplane, and being able to step to that airplane, or any of the airplanes at Andrews, was a dream come true for me, and I never took it for granted. And I know and trust that those stories that I'm going to tell are going to be funny stories. They're going to be about the time that I flew Secretary Rumsfeld on one of my first trips with him. And we were on another aircraft, and I went in to see if he wanted anything. And I said, "Mr. Secretary, good morning, can I get you anything?" And he said, "Yeah, can you give me a Coke and can you warm it up?" Get me a Coke. So I went back where I had an instructor, and I said, "He wants a Coke, warm." He's like, "Warm it up." Poured it in the glass with a microwave. Brought it up to the cabin where he was sitting up in the front, gave it to him. And he took a drink and he goes, "This is warm, it's hot, I don't want this." This guy really is crazy, really what he says is true. So I went back, "What did he need? Get me a Coke and warm it up. It's too cold in here." That's what he meant. That's what he meant. That's called crew resource management. That's knowing what they're saying before they say it or if they say it the right way. So that was a funny story. And it's going to be filled with anecdotes like that. It's going to be filled with the time I had a student and we were on a bigger airplane. And then again, flying with Rumsfeld. There's a common denominator here with Rumsfeld. But my student went through and he was securing the cabin and grabbing the bags and pulling them up. And he went to grab the bag that was next to the secretary and went to throw him up. And he said, "That's my dog!" He had a little dog in his bag. And he was about to put him up into the bag. Just amazing stories like that. No negative stories. I don't have negative stories. Those are about the press people, the I get to tell those stories now. And I get to look out and be with service members, and even though I wore a different uniform for the last 17 years of my 27 years, it's still a common denominator. It's still thank you for your service. It's still brotherhood, sisterhood, and thanking you. And that's so important. I can't stress it more. Our honor guard, I went back and shook all their hands because they look great. So one more hand for the honor guard. And it's a tough song to sing. As a singer, I sing a lot of songs. That's the hardest. That's the hardest song to sing. Because if you start high, there's nowhere to go but up. And my wife says she always holds her breath at certain parts of that song. Because I've been known that sometimes the key to the national anthem is do not think of the words. Don't think of the words before you say them, just let them come. And look at that flag and know what those words mean. Know about the people that I stand on your shoulders. All you guys and girls out there with hats, all the family members that supported those. I stand on your shoulders. We stand on your shoulders of watching history unfold. Whether it be by choice or by judge, we all got to do it. And that's the most amazing thing. Any other questions? Yes?
Think about the Hickory Airport Aviation Museum.
I think it's amazing. I love it. In fact, I got to sing there last year, and I think it looks amazing. I would love our local museum. I would love our local towns, to do a lot more for the veterans as far as honor. I just had a conversation with our lovely mayor, Hudson Janet, and right down here, and talking about our banner program. If you've ever gone through the small towns in America, you see banners on the lampposts of our veterans that have served. I'd love to see that program here in Lenoir, Hudson, and Granite Falls, and in Hickory. But I love that museum. It's really great. I congratulate those guys and that team for what they did over there. And I'd love to see that here locally. So my VA girls, where you at? I love our VA office, by the way. We weren't even living here, and that was the first place that I went to see the girls there at the VA and say, hey, listen, first of all, I'm new here, I'm a veteran, but second of all, how can I serve? How can I serve you? What can I do to continue my service to our community? And they connected me, and we all became fast friends. So, any other questions?
Last question.
Yeah, last question, please.
So I got to listen. Go ahead. The Blue Angels? I never did. No, I never did. Aside from just watching them at our air show that we would have every year at Andrews, that was the only time that I got to see the tour with Blue Angels. But anyways, I want to thank you all for listening. Thank you all once again for your service. There you go. That's how I do it. Thanks, everybody. Happy Veterans Day.
We're up for Richard!
All right. Thank you, Richard, for sharing that remarkable experience with us. We certainly appreciate it.
All right, we're going to try something different. Need the house lights all the way up, please? I need my volunteers to come down and grab the door prizes, 6 of them.
Folks, we have, 20-some door prizes, 25 door prizes to give out.
The
And
best
we were
is
trying
yet to come in regards to what's happening upstairs, but we have some very generous folks and companies around the area that have donated door prizes, so we're going to try something different. Instead of raffle tickets, we're going to toss some balls out into the audience, and if you catch it, just hang on to it. One of our volunteers is going to bring you the next door prize. Surprise, surprise. You're going to get what they give you. If you don't like it, maybe you can exchange. So I've got 3. I'll throw one. Volunteer will deliver it. Mark will throw one. Same thing till we get 6 done, and then we're going to move on. We'll do another couple of 3 giveaways a little bit later in the program. Y'all ready?
All right, we're going to walk down there and probably toss some out here too, right?
All right, I'm first. Here we go. Hey, grab it. Can you catch it? Got it? Right here. All right, Mark, toss yours. Go, Mark. Yeah, we'll try different colors. Here we go. Here we go, right here.
those balls back.
All right, this didn't work out quite like we expected because if you end up missing it and it drops between the seats, it rolls for wherever. So we don't know where some of these balls are.
Here's another one.
All right, that person caught it.
Mark, did you throw all yours? Let's see. I need those balls back. What's that? Oh, yeah. Maybe next year we arm wrestle for them. All right. Y'all bring the balls back. Mark, how many did you do?
2, 3.
2 or 3? All right, y'all bring the balls back and set them up here.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and move on real quick.
Okay, before we adjourn, a few quick reminders. Has everyone received, everyone received a meal ticket? If not, go back by the registration desk to pick yours up. That's your ticket for lunch. Okay, we dismiss shortly, so let me explain what happens next. Every veteran should have an armband with a number written on it. Everybody got it? Armband with a number written on it. If not, go by and make sure that you get a number written on your armband. You should have the meal ticket I previously mentioned. You should have a checklist and a survey card, front and back side. If you're missing any of these items, go back to the registration desk and pick them up.
All right, we're just a few minutes away from releasing, so at this time, if you are a resource provider upstairs, one of the vendors upstairs, please at this time to go on up and get set up. We'll be releasing everybody in just a few minutes. So if you're a resource provider upstairs, if you are not, please stay in your seat. This is only for the resource providers or the folks that are helping out up in 206.
Veterans, stand by. We still have some instructions to give you about how the rest of the day is going to go, and I need the balls back.
All right, so once dismissed, once again, you're going to be going upstairs to room 206, which is the big room upstairs, the same place we hold it each and every year. Our resource providers and agencies are going to be located up there. Please take your time to visit as many as you can and connect with those that meet your needs. Lunch. Let's talk about lunch real quick. It's going to be the food court style. It's going to be served in the foyer just outside these doors from 11:30 to 12:30 or until the food runs out.
All right, we're going to do some door prizes again. All right, you ready?
Yep. All right, a few more door prizes.
Hold the ball up and let our volunteers sit. All right, here we go. Any more?
All right, volunteers, let's go ahead and get those door prizes out. I'm going to continue. Y'all just kind of listen. Y'all can do more than one thing at a time. All right, beginning shortly, beginning at 11 o'clock, the supply room will be open for veterans only. We have a limited supply of a number of items, so please keep in mind and follow the instructions of our volunteers who are working hard to make things work out for you, and they're here to assist. We ask that you take what you need, not what you want. Also, a family caregiver can go in with the veteran, but the items in the supply room are exclusively for the veterans. Okay, admittance into the supply. Everybody that's worn a uniform knows what a supply room is. Okay, so that's where we have gathered items that veterans may need. But you have a passport, a ticket to get in there. You'll be led into the supply room by groups of numbers. So we'll get on the loudspeaker and we'll say, if your armband is 1 through 10, then line up at the supply room. So if I look at my armband and it's 7 and I just called 1 through 10 out, then you can go get in line at the supply room. That's the way this is going to work. We ask that you wait until your number and your group has been called before you line up. Otherwise, we'll have the whole hallway booked up with people, and that's not what we want to happen. There's plenty of vendors. There's 40 plus resource providers and agencies for you to visit, so please do that before. Plus, you got to get your survey card filled out. So if we could get the next slide for the survey card, I'll explain how this works. Everybody should have received a card that the front is on the left and the back is on the right. To get in the supply room, you have to have the front portion with the blue lines and the top portion of the back filled out. The side on the left, you have to visit at least one agency from each one of those categories. Now this is so we give them their due. They volunteer their time, they volunteer their resources. Go by and talk to them. You never know if they have something you may need or not. It may be a connection for a supply item or a counseling service or insurance or something like that. So please go by and talk to them. They have stuff at the tables to give you as well. But you got to go to at least one there, have them sign and check it. And the bottom there is an agency of your choice. So if you find one you like and you visit them, just have them sign it. And then to help us do better next year, we ask that you fill out the top part of the back side. That's the survey. It's a 5-star rating. That's what it is. Poor to excellent, okay? And there's a note on your card that says what each one of those stars mean. Do us a favor. Help us make this better for you next year. Take a few minutes and fill out that survey. Now, the bottom part of the back is optional. So we try to meet your needs here, but we're not mind readers. So if there's something that you need that you don't find here, then that's the way to let us know to do better next year. And if you have an individual need, you can put that need down there. You can put your email, phone number. We're not going to sell it. We're not going to give it away. We're going to try to use it to meet that specific need. So if you need something, this is your way to let us know. All right, to reiterate, do not stand in line in front of the supply room until your group, your number and your group is called. Now, if they call out 21 to 30 and you missed yours and you're number 13, you can get in line at any time. Does that make sense? So if they're already past your number, just go ahead and get in line. They're not going to turn you away. And you will have to turn in that supply room card after you finish, because that's your ticket in, and that's a one-time ticket entry. You must have the front side and the top of the back side checklist, passport card completed. That's your admission ticket. And again, if they're past your number when they call, just go ahead and get in line. Okay, Mark?
All right, so next slide, please. Allow me to orient everybody before we proceed. I'm going to show you the floor plans real quick so you'll understand where everything is. You see, we're over here in the auditorium. This is the first floor, the one you're familiar with. The food vendors are just outside. That's where lunch will be served. The dining room is in the middle there. What you're going to do is we're going to, after we leave here, we're going to proceed upstairs. So if you'll go ahead and put up the second floor. You see room 206 there, which is outlined in the red. That's where the agencies are. That's where the resource providers will be. Once your number is called, you're going to proceed out that door. You're going to take a right, and you're going to go down here where it says room 215, which is in the blue. That's the resource provider agency. If you are looking to get a haircut, you'll go right back out the door up there in the green area, which is in room 213. And that's where they'll be given the haircuts at.
One correction. Room 215 is actually the supply room. I labeled that wrong. That's the supply room. And then adjacent to that is the Sports Clips haircuts. All the providers in 206, the big hallway, open forum area, and then down the hall. And everything's labeled on the walls and on the doors. But that's my bad on the 215. That is the supply room.
Okay. All right. So at this time, before I release everybody, someone did leave a phone or drop the phone. So it looks like it's got a, anyway, it looks like this. Anybody has a phone, it looks like it's got a stream, kind of a stream or rocks going down past it.
Let's put it at the registration desk.
Yeah,
Mark.
we'll stick this to the registration desk for anybody.
And I think, and I'm not sure, I meant to capture this earlier, Wayne Mihalik said we had a World War II veteran. Is the World War II veteran still in the room? He may have stepped out.
Okay?
I missed him. Okay.
All right, so at this time, let's go ahead and proceed up to 206 upstairs, visitor resource providers. The planning committee members will be wearing purple stand-down shirts. Our volunteers are identified by their name tags. Please ask if you have any questions. Thank you again, and most of all, thank you for your service. Thank you.